Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here. Grateful recovering alcoholic and addict. Another beautiful day, guys. How's everybody doing? Guys, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and share with anybody who might get something out of the video. We're going to just have a little rap session again today. I got a couple of topics I want to bring up today. First, it's going to be a combination of a couple of different things, guys. First, I just want to urge, again, everybody out there struggling, let it go. I've been dealing with people that are struggling in life all day, trying to be of service, trying to help, right? People I know, people that are from the area, and guys, you got to understand, if you got a substance abuse problem or you got an alcohol problem, you got to let it go, right? You can sit there and give all the reasons in the world, but when you're being faced with a problem, right? Unless you're willing to admit where the issue lies, if you're not willing to be honest about what the root of the problem is, you're not going to get anywhere. I just spent 2 hours on the phone with somebody that I actually care about. She's somebody I used to work with, and she's going through it right now. And she's coming back with everything that she thought was, or she understood for the last 2 years, that, I got this, and I was told this, and then this person that, and I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, the apartment that she's in, that she's not paying for, she was allowed to live there while she worked at the company. She no longer works at the company. Her car was paid off for her, and she was offered money to move. And now, but he also let her know that if you don't start moving, I'm going to have to start the eviction process because I need you out of there by August 1st, and it takes time if you don't. But as long as you move in the meantime, he's literally willing to pay for her first, last, and security at another place, and she won't get off her ass and look for a place. And she's coming back, well, what if I move to my sister's? Do I still get the money? And I'm like, but then he told me this, and he told me that. He told me, like, none of it, at the end of the day, none of it matters. You no longer, when the situation changes, the promises that came along, or the perks that came along with that situation, also change. You can't live in the past. And sometimes it's not fair, and sometimes it's not your fault. But at the end of the day, you've got to take the lifeline that's being extended to you. Sometimes, it seems to me like we get it when we're upset and we're hurt. We want to hold on so badly and so dearly. Surrendering it to God. This is what I talk about all the time, guys. And believe me when I say that I've had to do this a number of times. I mean, I've been through some of the worst situations in this world that people could ever imagine. I've been put homeless on the street through, sometimes through fault of my own, and other times through no fault of my own because somebody else. But again, at the end of the day, I always had accountability in it because, even if I didn't do the things that I was being accused at the time, I was still using drugs and not doing the things I was supposed to be doing. So I've got to take accountability for it, and that's what I'm all about today. I take full accountability for everything that's happened in my life because in one way or another, I allowed it to happen. This girl's got a good situation, or, not the best situation at the moment, but again, it's also a situation that she caused by staying up all night, doing coke, drinking, coming into work messed up. She was running the office of a company, and she's literally paying, she's writing out $40,000 checks to the wrong people, not paying utilities for apartments that whose utilities aren't covering. Like, you understand, like, you're playing with very important things, and you're not giving it the attention it needs, and you got every chance in the world to straighten out, and you didn't. And then all of a sudden, the door is finally closed. But even then, you still got a $5,000 car loan paid off for you, and you're still being offered $5,000 or $6,000 to find a new place. But you're so stuck on being hurt by not being the favorite child anymore that you're not willing to take the lifelines being extended to you, and that to me is insane. And I'm just trying to get through to her, and this is why I'm urging everybody, guys. When things go bad, right, at some point you got to understand when it's time to cut your losses, and you can't be afraid to reinvent yourself or go through. Sometimes when I call it a tower moment because the tower falls down, right? If your foundation isn't strong because you're making mistakes or you're in a bad spot, and eventually you're going to face a tower moment, right? Your house of cards is going to come crumbling down. Now, this is literally why I see these things as defining moments, and it's where I found love and the strength to rebuild my life, is I've made it through so many of these tower moments that I know I can overcome. Now, the difference is today, I've surrendered my will to God, and I work hand in hand with God, which keeps me on the forefront of being the best person I can possibly be. So that means I'm not looking at situations like that today, because now people are inviting me to come collaborate and offering me more things. My life is blossoming in ways that I'm shocked at how quickly it is. And again, I don't say it's brag, but I'm saying it's because I've done the work, guys. I've surrendered to God, and I literally, pray, meditate, and bring that person, that healed version of me that wants the best for everything, that's willing to look introspectively and see where I failed, where I've made major mistakes, correct those mistakes, and then bring that healed person out into the world and show up as the best healed version of me, doing the best, everything to the best of my ability, and not cutting corners, and not looking for handouts, and not looking for anything. Like I'm out working for my living, and I'm looking to help other people out along the way. That same kid I was talking to yesterday that was all drunk yesterday, I pulled him aside today because he was sober and he was a little embarrassed about yesterday. And again, I'm like, listen, I'm not here to berate you. I'm here to get sense of you while I can while you're sober. And once again, extend the olive branch. Now, in the meantime, a good friend of mine who I know from the AA meetings around here, come to find out he knows him as well and knows his family. This kid that wants everybody in the world to feel so bad for him, his family apparently is fairly well-to-do, and they love him desperately, but he's made such a mess of his home life that they can't have him there, and they've offered him a standing offer that anytime he's willing to go get help, within 30 minutes, a bus will be here to take him to a private plane, fly him to Florida to a beautiful rehabilitation clinic where he'll stay for as long as he needs to, get the proper medication for his diagnosed mental health issues, and his family will literally be right there backing him, but he chooses to walk around with a chip on his shoulder, angry and living on the street when he's got that. And that to me is insane. Guys, you gotta want better for yourself. Nothing in your world. I can preach here all day long, and I can share all the steps in the world that have worked for me, and none of it is going to work for you if you don't want better for yourself. You've got to want better for yourself. You've got to know there is better. And the thing of it is, guys, until you let go of all that anger, all that animosity, all the, well, this person did this person did that, find your accountability in it. Heal and fix what you were accountable for. Forgive whatever happened in the past, because once you come back better, once you go into the hospital, rehab, or whatever, whatever your situation may be, once you do the work to show up as a better person, I promise you, those in your life are going to get behind you and back you in ways that you never thought possible. And you're going to find opportunities left and right. Like, everybody wants better for everybody, like 90% of the time. Granted, there's always the exception to the rule that some people just messed up, and I'm sorry, and if you have people like that, you got to get them out of your life. I've done it. I had many people in my life that were very messed up and literally saw me as a cash cow, but I allowed that to happen. That was on me. That's nobody else's fault but my own. The reason that things are going so well for me today, and the reason I'm trying to help so many other people, is because I found that literally everything can change in an instant when you're willing to stop the craziness, stop digging. But you cannot move forward carrying around this bullshit that you're worried about. Well, so-and-so promised me this, promised me that, and you're refusing to look at the fact that you made grave mistakes that made those doors close for you, or whatever happens. Somebody doesn't, people fall in love and fall out of love and relationships end. You've got to understand that you've got to surrender to God and then find love for yourself, because when you do that, you'll understand that everything, once you heal yourself and move forward, you'll understand that everything happens for your best interest once you stop and take the lessons that life is trying to teach you and move forward with them. But until you're willing to do that, nothing's going to happen. You're going to be what I call stuck on stupid. Groundhog Day. And literally, this is getting to be Groundhog Day, and it sucks because this is somebody who I worked with for years and was there for me when I needed her, and I've always been there for her, and a friend, in a friendly manner. There's nothing beyond that. She's a good kid with some mental issues, and life has definitely not been the best for her, but she had a golden opportunity. Anybody that gets into this company that I used to work for, that I'm part-time working for, that I'm subcontracting for, whatever you want to consider it now, so long as you're not taking advantage of his kindness, right? You can't mistake kindness for weakness, guys. And everybody, and again, this is something that's happened to me. I tell this to people all the time, and when all of a sudden I whip out the sword and I cut the ties, they're all upset, and they're like, well, you were so... Yeah, and you took advantage of my kindness for weakness, and you played me, and I give everybody multiple warnings, because I'm literally the most forgiving person in the world. I don't care what you did to me yesterday. If you're willing to own up to it and make, and you don't have to make amends. Just you got to correct the behavior. That's it. You don't have to come apologize. You don't have to come, make right anything you took. All you got to do is stop the bullshit. Admit that you did it, and then move on from it and take it as a lesson. And I'll be more than happy to forgive you. And not only that, but I will respect that so much, because literally I have the balls to do that. And I respect honesty and loyalty above all things. And too many times I've gone down with sinking ships because of my loyalty. And I finally got to the point where because I didn't put myself first. I'm literally putting myself first today. I will sit there and be supportive and I will help you, but I will not bullshit you. I will not yes you to death. I will not tell you you're right when you're wrong. I will sit there and tell you, well, no, you're wrong. And again, no, okay, well, yes, that's what happened yesterday. And then you did this and this caused this and now this is where you are today. And if you're not willing to accept that, I'm not gonna play in your fantasies with you. And you can get mad at me all you want, because all I'm doing is I'm here trying to help, right? And you know what? That's all I can do. At the end of the day, I'm gonna go home and be okay with it because I'm doing everything humanly possible to help. But don't expect me to be part of a bullshit story. Don't think you're playing an angle. This same girl had two people move into an empty room in the apartment and then tried to tell me, oh, they were just staying there for the night. Well, Courtney, if you're staying there for the night, why didn't they stay in your room? I literally had a conversation with her the night before, because it's what it is, guys, is an apartment house. That one floor of the house, he was renting it out as a rooming house, renting it by the room. And, you know, of course, in those situations, as so often happens, the wrong people get in there and they start taking advantage and they start not paying. Now, all of a sudden, you get a $3,800 or $4,000 a month apartment that you're lucky to collect $600 a month, and utilities are costing $1,800 a month, and everybody's letting everybody else stay in the room, and, you know, your water bill is now through the roof because you got 14 people staying there instead of 3. And these people don't understand that. Oh, but yeah, but I'm a legal tenant and I can have guests. You sign, first of all, the one that's talking about this isn't paying rent anyway, so she literally doesn't have a leg to stand on. Yes, it's her legal address, which is why he'll go through the eviction process. But when you're living there for free, you're not paying the utilities. You don't have the right to put people in an empty room. I told her the night before we were coming over to put a board over the door so that nobody would be staying there. And she had people staying there. When we walked in, I wasn't even me, but somebody else walked in the next morning. There's a couple moved in there. And now she's trying to say, well, no, Courtney, look at the reality of what happened. You were warned. You continue to do it, and then you sit there and cry when you get the, when you get the consequences for your actions. And I'm using this as an example. I'm not trying to put anybody out there, guys. When you're in a situation like this, the hardest thing in the world is to hear is the truth. But nothing in your life is going to improve until you're willing to embrace the truth. Take the opportunities that are there. Take the lessons learned from the mistakes that you made and move forward with them. If you want to sit there and cry in the sandbox, and you know what, you're going to be crying in the sandbox lonely while a door gets shut behind you, and that sucks. Right now, she's got a good opportunity to at least walk away, but you know what, yeah, you're going to have to go get a job. And again, start the whole, oh, my car's broken, really? I'm here to fix your car, and every time you say it's broken, you don't show up, and I see you driving down the street, it's working fine. So stop with the car is broken shit, stop with you can't work shit. It's you choosing not to because you're stuck in a depression spiral. And I understand depression is a real thing and it does cripple people. But you know what? She's got her doctors and she's got her medication. Start doing it properly. Stop doing cocaine at night. Stop staying up all 9 hours a night. Stop letting life bully you and then crying about it when you get the results. And again, this goes for anybody out there, guys. It's one of those hard truth lessons. When you do the right things happen. When you're not, you can't sit there and piss and moan about when you get caught, with your hands in the cookie jar, guys. You know what I mean? It's simple as that. Most of the people follow me. I think we're all on the good side of this, so we know this. But to those of you out there that are struggling, stop worrying about what happened yesterday. Start making the changes you need to make today and look for the opportunities for tomorrow and take the lifelines that are being handed to you while they're available. Don't run them into the ground and then cry, piss, and moan when you cause something like this girl's going to end up living in her car. I see it coming, and there's absolutely no need of that because literally she could, anyway, it breaks my heart, but at the same time, I'm done taking other people's, I'm not going to carry somebody else's responsibilities when they're not willing to carry it themselves. I will help anybody in the world, but I'm not going to do the work for you. You've got to do the work for yourself. You've got to make right. You've got to get ahead of things. Guys, that's my message for today. Remember, guys, it all starts with surrendering to God. When you're working hand in hand with God and you're trying to be the best person you can be today, things like this don't happen. If things like this are happening in your life, look at where your accountability is, because if you're doing it the way I'm doing it, these things don't happen. It's as simple as that. Everything goes in my favor today because I literally have made myself a magnet for miracles by doing the work, getting outside of myself, being of service to people, being the best version of me that possibly is. Everybody I come into contact with is like, wow, you've got the most amazing energy. It's because I'm filled with God's love, and I'm spreading God's love to everybody everywhere I can. It's literally the most amazing thing, and I love myself for it, and I love what I do, and it breaks my heart when I see people that just literally are banging their head against the wall and then ask them why they have a bruise, right? Well, guys, God loves you. I love you. Thank you so much for taking time to listen. Please take the lessons. I'm not saying this to hear myself talk as much as I am starting to enjoy it. God loves you guys. I love you. Thank you so much. We'll see you in the next one.